Thank you. I had to bring papers because in case you get nervous, another theme is dog days of summer. I'd be like, yeah, I know something about dogs. But no, this is actually my first time out here, and as an obvious crazy dog lady, it's been so great to hear like the stories and stuff. They've been like so heartfelt and so wonderful, and this has been really nice. So it's nice to hear that other people are just kind of as nuts about dogs as I am. So, but yeah, I opened the puppery probably about officially 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been an ongoing endeavor. And we're in the pet business. Business is slow because it's back to school, and if you guys aren't going back to school, you know, continue education and stuff, people are putting their kids back in school, and the last thing they're thinking about, you know, is their dog kind of getting in. So we're just kind of sitting there waiting for our time for people to remember that they need us. But actually, school is the reason I even came to Macon in the first place. I moved here in 2005, back when the Hummingbird was new and the Rookie was still just a bar. And I had a great time at Mercer. I really enjoyed it. I was still finding myself, and Mercer decided that they were kind of tired of me finding myself for so long. So after being a career college student, after 7 or 8 years, I had to figure out my finances because college was not free, or at least wasn't anymore for me. I had worked in food service for a while, and I kind of pickings were slim then, and I was just, I got a job at PetSmart, and I was like, this will be fine for a couple months until I get my stuff figured out. And Mercer got more expensive. I was just as poor as I was before, so didn't do much. But the job I got into accidentally, I was actually kind of good at. My family's rescued dogs my whole life, and we were the people with the just excessively and unreasonably large dogs. We rescued a puppy that was 6 pounds. For some reason, it'd be like 100 pounds when it was done. My grandparents rescued Great Danes, and they're all short-haired dogs, so you just chunk them in the tub, and it's kind of the end of it. And I was never a frou-frou dog person, and now I have excessive amount of Pomeranians, as do my friends. I'm a bad influence. Taught me for more than 5 minutes. You're gonna be like, God, I want to fluffy dogs so bad. But yeah, I ended up staying there for longer than intended, and I guess I was doing something right now for to send me to their grooming academy. And I remember when I was going to Peachtree City, I was like, if you went back in time and said, you're going to be shaving dog butts and being a dog groomer, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. I have so many other things that I have to do. But no, it worked out, and sorry, I checked to see where I was, make sure I'm not rambling too much. But no, I was really excited to do it. I had a great time throughout my training and stuff, and I was like, I felt more of a purpose than I did doing other stuff. I think that's why I kind of bounced around so much in my degrees, because I was like, I need to be fulfilled, I need to have a purpose. I was like, I need to feel what I'm doing, and I get to work with dogs, it's great. But there is, the shininess kind of wore off after a while, the more I kind of got to know about what I was doing. And part of it too was the company I worked for got sold to someone else, and it became more about kind of money to a president, which, I mean, yeah, you're running a business, but there is something kind of inherently dangerous to me about when you corporatize the care for living things. And that goes to me for kids, for dogs. When you try and mix humanity and care with profit, you walk a very thin and very dangerous line. And when you try and bring that into big business, it's kind of the antithesis of it. It's not going to work. And that's pretty much what happened. Margins and profit and numbers start trimming away at the care that you can give to pets. And if a dog needs more time, if it needs this, if it needs that, that might not necessarily be conducive to you squeezing 2 more dogs in, to you getting them in, getting them out. And the other problem I had too was with it becoming about numbers. You have to sell this, you have to sell that. The store I originally worked at was kind of in a more disadvantaged area, and I got to know my clients, and you know, people who are older, people who are on fixed budgets, people who they have to make sure that they have the money just to bring their dog for their service, because it's not just the dog being cute. A lot of breeds, it's for their health. And for mixed breeds, when they get really long and fluffy, you have to maintain it. It's not just bows and glitter, and my dog's hot pink, and it's great, and it's cute. It's important for their health. And these people are trying to do this to make sure they are good pet owners. And I'm actually a really bad liar as part of it. And I could not find a way to be like, oh yeah, you definitely need this $10 peppermint scrub. What does it do? It's pepperminty. But it's definitely worth $10. Maybe it feels gross. And that ate away at me. And I went from loving my job, just getting back into a pit where I just wasn't happy with what I was doing. And it kind of just escalated, and it got to where I was miserable going to work every day. And dogs can really feel that, and I thought grooming wasn't for me. Actually, I was like, this was an interesting little side quest in my life. Or if you're not finishing college, great. And I quit, and I was like, I'll go back to food service, get back in college, and none of that happened. I actually got offered a job to work in the private pet grooming sector to manage a kennel, and I was like, I'll try it out. And I loved it. I could buy all these little weird, ridiculous products. I could take time with dogs. And dogs can tell. They can sense so much about people, and it's not just like hokey, kind of feely good stuff. Dogs are the first evidence of humans actually domesticating animals. Not cows, not goats, not donkeys, nothing. Dogs. 30,000 years ago is the first evidence. You cannot have a little critter that we have made to be what we want it to be. We took wolves and made them little tiny things, all kinds of different things, and think that they don't have a deeper understanding of us. We're still learning about the myriad of different senses that dogs have, the pheromones we give off. Sweden was able to teach dogs to sense COVID before people were getting it. And they're just they just kind of did it. Their noses are really great, but we're still figuring that out. So, yeah, we have these amazing little creatures, and to me, we should be way more responsible of them than we are a lot of times. And that was great. I loved it. Everything was going chipper and swell until I had the dogs out of the boarding kennel. I walked backwards, I tripped over one. Tried to grab a kennel for support, and it fell on me, which I'm sure was probably hilarious looking at the time. But I caught all my weight on my elbow, and I fractured my collarbone in 2 places and tore something in my shoulder. I typed up the technical name, I can't remember it. I had 15% range of motion. I drove a stick shift, and I could not drive my truck. And it's right-handed, of course, it's my right hand, but grooming, you need both hands. And I was just like, that's a nice one. But I got a job at the front desk at a hotel. I was working on healing, taking every single vitamin under the sun, which does work. I used to have a little break here saying I took all these vitamins to heal everything, and I closed up, and I was like, well, at least I think I'll be doing something. And I'm back in food service, and I was like, you know what? It's been almost a year. I think I'm ready to go back to grooming. And I got a job somewhere local, and I was grooming for 2 weeks. I was so excited. I got fired because I was so bad. And he was like, at the interview, he was like, yeah, you know your stuff. And I was like, yeah, I love dog grooming, love dogs, all these things about dogs. You're hired. I started grooming dogs, and he's like, well, the spirit's there. That's the job that counts. I was freaking devastated. And I remember I was like, this is the best grooming job. It's a Shangri-La of grooming. I love working here. 2 weeks later, they're like, I bet you did. And I was just like, ugh. But maybe look into continuing education programs and stuff. So grooming is not a regulated industry. It's kind of like the Wild West, but with clippers and dog butts. And I was like, God, how do I get better? I thought I was fine. But I mean, after a year, I guess you're kind of rusty. And so I joined every association you could. All these things I didn't even know existed. I was on Google, and I was like, this sounds legit. I want in. And sorry, I'm getting out of paper now. Make sure I stay on track. But yeah, there was all this stuff out there. So the Grooming Academy at PetSmart, I appreciate it because they teach you basic safety stuff. But like different techniques, show dog grooming, the different kinds of coats and stuff. there's this whole giant community dedicated to it, and it's amazing. And you have people who are like, I'm a dog groomer, I shake dog butts. And you have people who are like, no, pet industry professionals, have you heard about this, and this? And I was like, and I'm a nerd. When I get into stuff, I like geek out on it, especially if there's things you can buy. And I'm like, what? Stripping knives, powder, these colognes, these conditioners? It's like, I'm so excited to be here. Went to the Atlanta Pet Fair for the first time this year. The first time I wanted to go, COVID happened, and I was like, I'm excited, but I'm not trying to die over it. So, yeah, but it's great. It's a completely different community. We're comrades more than competition, colleagues. We talk about things. It's about the betterment of industry for dogs and for people. A lot of it, too, is educating owners. And you go to a salon, a groomer has like 1 million dogs to get through, and like, why'd you do this to my dog? Because I had to. It's $50. And we work privately, and then when you groom a dog from a place of education, a lot of times people just don't know. I mean, I didn't realize how much I didn't know as a professional until I learned what I didn't know. And that's one of the big things behind me opening the puppery downtown is, I've lived downtown since 2005, and it's amazing to see the transformation. And I've been like, I want a salon downtown, it'd be so cool. And a lot of the stuff, I've completed some of my stuff, I'm still working on some of it. But with all the new businesses and stuff in Newtown, just cleaning everything up and bringing all these new opportunities in, I was like, I think they're finally ready. And I was finally ready too. But we went up to Atlanta in a little fire, checked out some of their small salons. Speaking of the camaraderie thing, the lady who owns the Pink Poodle out in Milledgeville, I told her, I was like, look, I want to open a shop in Macon. I'm far enough away, I'm not really taking business from you. But you have like the ideal salon that's in a tiny little cute downtown area and this itty bitty space, how do you do it? And she's like, you want to come work with me for a couple weeks? I'll show you how to do it. And it's so great. Is when you care about the industry and about pets and like you have this bigger goal, it's not about, I'm trying to steal your customers, like, no, you're confident in what you do. And you are happy to see other people growing in it and feeling about it the same way that you do. And I'm so excited now that we're finally open because I get to do things my way. I worked for some other private salons. One was not owned by a groomer, and it was like PetSmart Junior. That was awful. And then the other salon I was working at, I was happy for a little bit, but the more I learned, I'm a perfectionist, and I feel like if I know there's a better way to do something, I have to do it that way. But when you're working for someone else, I have to do it their way, and the joy started slipping away from me again. And I was like, oh, is PetSmart round 3? I quit there 2 jobs ago. But that opening my own shop was the only option. And it's better for me, it's better for the dogs, and every client I've had so far has just loved it. And I love downtown, and having a dog spot is great. It's something else that fills it out to me and makes the community just a little bit more complete. The closest salon is PetSmart, and you still have to get on the interstate to do it, which is awful. So, yeah, I'm just excited to come out and talk about dogs, see other dog fans, and get to talk about dogs to a captive audience. Usually I start going and I'm like, tell me to shut up, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, no, I'm still going. But yeah, if you ever have any dog questions about anything under the sun, my Pepper's on Facebook. I was trying to remember off the top of our head, but we're on MLK, beside where Fresh Produce used to be. And seriously, just come on down. Even if you don't book your dog, if you want to bring your dog in, just so they can kind of see and check it out and stuff. We focus on actually wholesale from other small businesses too, so there shouldn't be anything you can like buy off Amazon or anything. I'm trying to make it as unique to Macon as possible, but also something that ethically puts the dogs and the people first. One of my favorite phrases I've ever heard, which I've totally stolen from someone, is groom the dog in front of you. There's no blanket thing that works for everybody. You're just like, oh, assembly line, put him on here, bzz, bzz, bzz. No, you take the household and the dog into consideration. And you talk to the owners, and you kind of hang out with the dog for a minute, like, sir, you got something to tell me? I like fingers. You'll figure that out later. But it's just, I love dogs. And it's a totally different thing having a small kind of boutique shop, and I think it's a great thing to kind of help fill up downtown. And I'm hoping to see more like kind of funky little businesses and stuff open. And yeah, I'm the crazy dog lady with ridiculous hair. So if you ever have your dog out, you want to come by and get some ice water or something, because it is the hot dog days of summer. We also have bone broth to make popsicles with. But yeah, come see us. Huh?
And a photo couch.
Oh yeah, oh my god. We have a selfie couch for dogs. Because dogs are totally on the gram and they need that clouds. We also have hats, we have costumes. We have, right now we have a picnic basket with fruit themed toys. And we have some ring lights, so bring your dog down so they can get their gram on.